Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar. Then we'll run through the UKMO run, have a look at the precipitation temperature over the next 5 days, as we still have got a lot of showers around at the moment and will continue over the next day or so. But as we head towards Friday and the weekend, it looks like it's going to be turning much drier with high pressure building in. But unfortunately, when we have a look at the longer or mid to longer range with the GFS, GM, ECMWF and the Ensembles, we'll be able to see that although high pressure is building in, it doesn't look like it's going to be in a favourable position. It looks like we're going to be seeing east to northeasterly winds, little cut-off lows developing under the high pressure block, and it's not going to be completely washed out by any means, but it's going to mean there's a lot of thick cloud around, lots of drizzly showers around, especially in the north and east, and it's really going to keep those temperatures down with quite chilly upper air conditions. We have been looking at over the last few days whether it's going to veer more warmer or colder, and it does look like it's turning into that colder trend with north to northeasterly winds coming in for the end of this month. Hopefully though, the weather does snap out of it, because a lot of high pressure around, we can see very warm weather, but with this wind direction that's looking likely next week, it's not going to be particularly mild at all. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now if we do start on the live radar, you can see there is still a smacking of showers around. Most of these showers are either faded away, as I'm recording this around 5 PM, or confined to Scotland, really, across northern Scotland. Not as heavy today. We saw thunderstorms yesterday. We're not seeing those today, just more of these light to moderate showers when they're moving through quite quickly on the brisk wind. But you can see across most of England and Wales and parts of Ireland, Northern Ireland, they are fading, very little around, and some sunshine coming out for quite a few. You can see it in the near continent though, lots of heavy showers, and we're going to be seeing a continuation of showers and potentially more persistent rain over the coming day or so, as we do see more weather fronts trying to push in from the west before high pressure builds in. Now if you have a look at the temperatures, you can see they're reasonable, not massively high. You can see across eastern England into the Midlands, perhaps into the London area, even parts of the West Midlands, northwest England as well. It's all right. We've got to see these tint of oranges there, which is high teens and around that sort of 17 to 19 degree mark. Wouldn't be surprised if a couple areas reach 20 degrees, but it's not massively warm, and more widespread, sort of in around that 14-15 degree mark. We see more yellows and blues mixing in, and that does look like it's going to be the theme over the next few days. Could be seeing a brief rise in temperature as high pressure initially builds in, especially in the south and the west, and parts of southern Ireland as well. But once those northeasterly winds veer in, once those little cut-off lows come in, the upper air temperatures, cool pools of upper air temperatures comes in, it does look like it's going to be reducing those temperatures down significantly towards a low teen. Some areas under thicker cloud and drizzle, especially along the North Sea coast, could struggle into double digits perhaps next week. So if you do now have a look at the UKMO run, have a look at the precipitation temperature over the next 5 days, we'll be able to sort of veer into next week and see the potentially cooler, showery, cloudy theme coming in from the northeast. But for the time being, you can see we did have some quite heavy precipitation move through earlier this morning. Not crazy in terms of intensity, but quite widespread and fading over the course of the afternoon, with a lot of showers packing in behind it. But you can see those are fading away over the course of the evening. But you can see through tomorrow morning, we're going to see more persistent rain in weather front push through Ireland, Northern Ireland, into northwest England, northeast England as well, before moving through and just seeing a few showers across northern Scotland and through central and southern areas of England and Wales. It looks like thicker cloud and a few showers here or there. Beyond that, we still see some showers across Scotland, but with high pressure building in, you can see very little shower activity in the south through Friday and Saturday. But as we head through Sunday, shield these showers starting to build in the North Sea. That's that northeasterly wind starting to veer in, and you can see some cloud and showers pushing in. You can see it's not particularly intense, these showers. And they're very scattered as well. They're just generally thicker cloud and showers pushing in for Monday morning. And the reason for this is, you can see on the pressure charts, high pressure out in the west and the Atlantic, low pressure to our east, pulling in a northeasterly wind. This would be bitterly cold, very snowy sort of charts if this happened in sort of December to March time. But being end of May, early June, there's not that much colder air, and it just generally is a chilly theme, because we look at the upper air temperatures, and you can see -2 to -3 degrees at 850 HPA, which doesn't seem amazingly cold, but that's very cold for this time of year. Good 5 to 10 degrees below average. Very chilly indeed, and it's going to hold those surface temperatures down quite a lot as well. Now if we do run it back, you can see this afternoon temperatures reaching, as I said, 17 to 19 degrees widely, perhaps 20 degrees here or there, and elsewhere sort of 14 to 16 degrees. Through tomorrow, it does look like the best temperatures will be in the far southeast, just to the south of that weather front across northwest England under the weather front with thicker cloud and rain, holding in around sort of 12 to 15 degrees. And by Friday, still could see a little bit of warmth in the far south. 20 degrees is possible. As I said, there is the possibility of some warmth over the next few days, but as I head towards next week, those temperatures are going to plummet. And you can see by Saturday, potentially 20, 21 degrees perhaps in the far southwest. And of course, parts of Republic of Ireland looking very good as well. But by Sunday, you can start to see cooler temperatures coming in from the northeast, only 7, 8, 9 degrees across the North Sea. That's starting to filter in into the surface temperatures widely, sort of 10 to 15 degrees across England and Scotland, far southwestern England and southern Wales, and parts of the Republic of Ireland seeing the best conditions in around sort of 16 to 18 degrees, maybe a localised 19 or 20 degrees. But you can see by early hours of Monday, really chilly. Struggling, those temperatures really struggling in around mid to low single digits, and wouldn't be surprised through Monday afternoon to see those temperatures not rise much above sort of 13, 14 degrees quite widely as we see that chilly air mass in. Again, we'll have to have a look at this in more detail in the next couple of days as it comes into the more comes into the 5-day time frame, and we can have a look at the exact surface conditions. But at this stage, it doesn't look like many areas are going to be getting much above 15 degrees come early next working week. So it's going to be pretty chilly indeed. So we do now run through the GFS run. Have a look at the mid to longer range. Now this GFS run's only up to 224 hours, but to be honest, the longer range is very uncertain, so there's no real point having a look beyond that. And of course, it's best to have a look at the latest run as well. So you have westerly winds at the moment, high pressure building in, as I said, by Friday, Saturday, initially over the top of the UK, and that's why we could see some decent temperatures through Friday and Saturday. But through Sunday and Monday, as that northeasterly flow comes in, you see much chilly conditions arrive under this little cut-off low, with quite a cold pool. Upper air conditions, going to cool it down significantly. Beyond that, high pressure does build back in right towards 228 hours, but still with a northerly flow, will still be chilly with the air coming in off the North Sea. Now if we do have a look at the temperatures at 850 HPA, again you can see high pressure building in, which is pretty warm initially, but that cool area is drifting in off the North Sea, and you can see that cool upper air pool around 0 degrees at 850 HPA, if not lower. Again, zoom into the United Kingdom look. And you can see down to sort of -1, -2 degrees at 850 HPA. And you can see the UK Met Office run had it a little bit colder than that, pushing in. And we just stay in that cool pool of air before eventually we do see some milder air trying to push in. So could only turn chillier for a few days, hopefully, but it depends on how long that cut-off flow lasts, how long that sort of northeasterly flow does come in, decides on how much cooler air we're going to be seeing. Because if you look at the temperature deviation, you can see pretty chilly through most of next working week, 2 to 4 degrees below average, really quite chilly indeed. Not massively cold by any means, but well below average in terms of temperatures at the surface. Now if we have a look at the GEM run, see how that does compare. Again, high pressure building in over the next couple of days. Then we veer into that northeasterly wind, cut-off low developing. Could be quite unsettled under that, at least initially, before high pressure does come back in and settle things down. But still with a northeasterly flow. Again, this would be a very wintry chart if we saw this fall between December and March. Very cold indeed, but just chilly being this time of year. Now if we have a look at the upper air temperatures, again high pressure building in with reasonably warm upper air temperatures initially further westwards before that colder pool comes in. Not that much cool upper air conditions, so perhaps slightly milder conditions there from the GEM run for the start of next week, but still a cold pool there, especially along the east. And beyond that, we do generally see cooler upper air conditions, especially in the north and the east, before milder air does push into towards day 10, but still got this northerly wind veering in. So if you see that northerly wind properly start to push in, it could turn things cold up once again. And if we do have a look at the upper air temperature deviation, again chillier than average at the moment, and it's going to be turning much chillier than average next week and stay in around that colder than average feel. So yeah, not looking great next week if you've got any outdoor plans and you want the temperatures to be up into the high teens, low 20s. It does look like it will generally be dry though, especially further west, which it does look like it is going to be pretty dry. Yes, there's going to be thicker cloud around. There's going to be a bit of mist and murk around. There's going to be low cloud coming in from North Sea, and there are going to be some showers, could be some heavier showers along the eastern side of the country, but it will generally be dry. The biggest impact from this will be quite chilly conditions, meaning combined with the cloud and the few showers, it might feel a little bit miserable next week and not particularly summer-like as we head into the first few days of June. Now, if we do finish by having a look at the ECMWF, again, you can see low pressure still coming in at the moment, but high pressure building back in, and then we see that little cut-off low, really miserable conditions perhaps early next week, before eventually it does dissipate away, but we go into another northerly flow there with another little cut-off low developing, potentially giving more cooler air with northerly winds. Again, if we have a look at the 850 HPA temperatures, you can see low pressure or high pressure building in, and then we see that low pressure little cut off low developing, really cool upper air conditions, more widespread 0 degrees at 850 HPA, really chilly, before eventually that does peter away. See some warm air potentially veer up into the far southeast, just because the orientation of the low pressure system that's dropped to our south and our east, because that is one thing we do need to keep an eye on. There is very warm air just to our south, so we do see a slight shift in the orientation of the low pressure. High pressure we could turn very warm, but for the time being, it does look like it's cold. This sort of pattern, potentially veering up some warm air from the southeast, does look like it's a bit of an outlier. And you can see right towards the end of the run, we're back into another northerly wind, and you can see much cooler air is drifting in from the north and the west. And you look at that temperature deviation, very cold indeed. Just maybe hinting on some slightly warmer air in the far southeast for a day or two before colder air does return. Now, if we do look at the ensembles, just to finish the video, now you can see it is turning a little bit more warmer over the next day or two as that high pressure starts to build in. That's why we could still see low 20s maybe over the next sort of 2 days. But as we head into early next week, the last few days of May, you can see it is well below average, a good 5+ degrees below average, really chilly indeed, and returning to around average perhaps by sort of the 2nd, 3rd of June. So it could be seeing 3, 4, 5 days of colder than average conditions, and then staying around maybe slightly below average in the longer term. But there is a lot of spread within that, some very warm runs, some very cold runs. Precipitation signal does increase. Again, that will mainly be from shower activity. We're not seeing any major low pressure systems coming in off the west, just little cut-off lows that will give increased shower activity where they are sitting. If you look at the sea level pressure, you can generally see high pressure over the next few days, then turning lower pressure, but not insanely low pressure, because it is just small cut-off low pressure systems, just experiencing a little lift and cooler conditions. And if you do have a look at those 2 meter temperatures, that's not going to be pleasant. You can see early to mid next week, the ensembles are showing anywhere around sort of 13 to 15, maybe 16 degrees, and of course, these are low resolution models, so not only do they struggle with warmer conditions, they do struggle with cooler conditions as well, and feel like temperatures, because with the winds coming in from the North Sea, even if the thermometer shows 13, 14, 15 degrees like some of the ensembles are showing, it could feel more like 9 or 10 degrees, so it could be really quite chilly next week. So make sure you do stay tuned, because yeah, it's not going to be there's not going to be any freezing conditions by any means. It's going to be well around 10 degrees plus, but it's going to feel cold for this time of year. Now, if we do look at the ECMWF ensembles, just to finish the video, you can see again, much colder signal throughout the early part of next week into the middle of next week. Yes, returning to around or above average, perhaps to around the sort of 2nd, 3rd of June, but still not looking particularly warm. Some very warm outliers, some very colder outliers as well. So uncertainty into June, and precipitation signal does increase as well. But you can see where the cold air is still is here, and when it arrives, really, there's not that much precipitation, just a few little spikes, and that is for the cut-off low, potentially developing a few showers. But by no means is it going to be completely horrible next week, but it could be chillier than average and feel a little bit miserable. And if we finally have a look at those 2 meter temperatures, you can see mid next week, there could be a few days where the temperature hardly gets above 15 degrees, and you can see there in around sort of 29th, 30th, 31st, could be only around 12, 13, 14 degrees, and could feel colder than that as well. Some members even have it around 9 or 10 degrees. Longer term, those temperatures do recover, of course. As long as we have that northeasterly breeze, it will feel cold, but that won't last more than a few days, hopefully. So it does look like temperatures will recover, but we could be seeing quite a cold little period next week. So do make sure you do stay tuned. And if you've got any plans for Monday to Wednesday next week, when it does look like this peak of this colder weather could arrive, do make sure you keep an eye on the forecast. It's really the biggest impact will be the cooler temperatures. It doesn't look like there's going to be any frost by any means. It doesn't look like there's going to be any massive amounts of rain at this stage. Just a few showers and some thicker cloud, meaning those temperatures are going to struggle quite a bit. So anyway, does look like there could be some warmer weather for some over the next couple of days, so do cherish that before early next week, and hopefully it does recover once again as we head into the early parts of June. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.